Good evening or good afternoon, depending on what coast you are on. You are now listening to Mikasa Sukasa, and I am your humble host, Niko House. I want to go ahead and take a second to give a shout out to American Freedom Radio, which we are broadcasting on. If you have not visited them, go to American Freedom Radio's website, AmericanFreedomRadio.com, and also follow them on Twitter and on Facebook. Also want to give a special shout out to our sponsors, the Credit Surgeons. You can go to thecreditsurgeons.com to get your credit repaired ASAPtually. Now, look, I know a lot of y'all getting y'all taxes back right now. All right? All y'all. Don't go out there and buy a boat. All right, and go out there to the mall. If I go out to the mall and I see some of y'all, I know what y'all look like. I got a lot of Miami followers and subscribers. If I see one of y'all at the mall talking about some, I can't get this house, but don't this skirt look good on me? I'm calling you out. So go ahead, do the right thing for the long run. Go to creditsurgeons.com, get squared away. They have do a great job of getting you squared away, quick as possible versus having you wait 2, 3, 4 years to get your credit repaired. So good guys. So. First of all, if you are watching this, welcome. If this is your first time watching this, welcome. If this is not your first time watching this, share the post. I don't know if you all have been keeping up with the craziness going on social media. So as you all have probably figured out, if any of you subscribe to me or follow me on Twitter, then you know that you are now following a Russia spy, apparently. At least that's the message that half of my supporters have gotten. I even got the message because I follow, Tim and HA and all those journalists who don't echo the establishment media. So apparently I follow Russia bots too. And damn near every independent journalist in the world is a Russia spy. Who knew that Russia had such an elaborate and established network of independent journalists that suddenly all came out during the election and all coincidentally all supported Bernie Sanders at the same time? It's really weird. Didn't know Bernie was Russian. I guess he's like an Ashkenazi Russian Jew or something like that. I don't know, but that's what they're telling me. So on Facebook, I got a message today telling me I am actually banned from sharing into groups until February the 8th with absolutely I didn't get reported for spam. They just decided one day, hey, you're getting, because, for those of you who have read my article, which I encourage you to, called Why 2016 Will Not Be the Same as 2020, referring to Bernie Sanders in the primary election. That article went viral the other day, and the bots have been out in full effect. People, I've never seen, and I was part of Bernie's election, or Bernie's campaign. I've never seen so many bots in my life. In the political realm. And coincidentally, these bots also come around at the same time that Bernie Sanders unofficially announces that he's running for office again. People have become shadow banned out of nowhere. People, like, my tweets are being marked as sensitive for absolutely no reason. There's no, tweets that have no vulgarity in them, tweets that aren't really even that controversial. It's just stating a material fact. They're just blacked out. People are being forced to unfollow our pages. Lee Camp briefly tweeted about this. Tim Black discussed this. H.A. Goodman discussed this as well. It's like I said, I've talked about it several times. I tell you, I had to threaten to sue Facebook before they actually allowed me to get past 10,000 followers. And then I come to find out that over 1,000 of my personal friends had magically unliked my Facebook page, even though they didn't know. They were still following it. They just unliked it. So make sure that you're checking the status of all of your favorite YouTubers and independent journalists, and because they're making people unfollow. So we gotta make sure we're keeping track of that type of stuff. It's censorship. It's blatant censorship, and it's frustrating. But we'll deal with it as it comes. Right? If they're trying to censor us, that simply means that we are winning. And we are indeed winning. If you've been keeping up with everything that's been going on in 2018. I told y'all now. I said 2018 about to be a hell of a year. Got all kind of memos and fire-ins and censor-ins and all kinds of nonsense. So it's been a good year for us. But of course, the more successful we are, the harder they're going to push back. And I don't want people to forget that. So make sure that you're continuing to check if you're subscribed to your favorite independent journalists, because they will force you to unsubscribe on every piece of social media, all of them. So somebody just said that. Look, somebody just said on Facebook, it says my live video has ended. Yeah, actually, yeah, it looks like it. I don't know. Somebody on Facebook let me know. That's crazy. Some people are saying that my live video on Facebook has just ended after I just gave that speech about how Facebook is censoring me. Wow, that sucks. But anyway, I want to go ahead and get started with the show. So, the first topic of the evening, not JFK. I don't want to insult his good name, soil his good reputation by associating him with this lesser Kennedy, this lesser guy. Joe Kennedy. You know what's so crazy about Joe Kennedy? How many, like, from the neoliberals, of course, these magnificent, magnanimous comments describing how great he would be as president and how progressive he is in politics, how great of a speaker, which he is really not a good speaker at all, by the way, but that's a different discussion for a different day. All these supportive words about a Kennedy most of y'all didn't know existed until 4 days ago. Y'all didn't even know when they said Kennedy was coming to speak in response to Trump's State of the Union address. Y'all were like, oh shit, how are they going to resurrect Kennedy? Are they doing the same thing they did with Tupac at the Coachella? That's what y'all thought that they were referring to when they said Kennedy was coming to speak. Y'all really believe that because y'all didn't even know this guy existed. Okay? Y'all didn't know he existed. Y'all did not know who Joe Kennedy was. People were like, oh, damn, he's a ginger. People were saying stuff like that, like, oh, it's okay that he's a ginger. Like, why are we even discussing the fact that he's a ginger? Like, that has nothing to do with his presidency. But there were literally people talking and analyzing why he would win. I'm telling you, first of all, he wouldn't. Sorry. I just want to go ahead and kill that dream right now. He get his ass whooped. But there is literally so much wrong with his speech, right? If you watched it, you know exactly what I am talking about. The guy is pegged to address the State of the Union, and he doesn't actually respond to Trump's State of the Union. Now, I'll be the first to admit, Trump lied his ass off to his supporters. Oh, we're going to talk to y'all at the end of this. Like, not the end, but towards the end. We're going to talk to y'all. We're going to have a conversation. But he lied his ass off to his supporters. Granted, you know what Bernie did? Bernie actually got his policy consultant and addressed those lies individually. You know what Bernie also did? Announced that he was going to respond to Trump's State of the Union address about 2 days before Joe Kennedy was just magically like created from a fucking Democratic establishment plant from the garden of, democracy. Hey, we need another Kennedy. We need another Clinton. We need another Bush. They just plant the seeds and somehow these motherfuckers keep showing up. God damn it. I want them to not be here. Where do these people keep having kids? They ain't some active parents. Anyway, so was anybody else just turned off by his mannerisms? Like, let's just talk about it from a strategic perspective. He is not well spoken. He is extremely robotic. And when you are that robotic, you look extremely inauthentic and disingenuous. I'm not being a dickhead. I'm just being honest. I'm just saying I do this, I'm a speechwriter. I also help people with speaking. And that's like having perfectly timed pauses. They were so perfect. Ben Dixon actually posted the picture of him editing his podcast, discussing that speech, and the space between each pause was absolutely perfect. That is not good. That's not good. Look, Dyer. We're not going to talk about the saliva on the side of his lips right now. We're not talking. It's not that part of the show yet. But What we are going to talk about, however, is everything he did not talk about, okay? This man did not address one policy point. He said, we're going to have Care Bears in every home, so anytime you feel sad when you hear Trump say a mean word, you can get a hug, and we'll turn that border wall into a wall of flowers, and you can all jump on my shoulders and I'll carry you over the rainbow. Yay, democracy. Bruh. That speech was literally full of just empty moral platitudes that the Democratic Party never has had a history of actually like doing anything about. It's not like what he said people don't want. Like, it's not like we don't want that stuff. Yeah, of course. We all want the world to be fucking made of rainbows. But that's not reality, okay? It's not reality. And it's definitely not a reality that you hope for, because like you don't even advocate for weed. What Democrat, ladies and gentlemen, is going to run in 2020 and have to answer to me and the hundreds of thousands and millions of other millennials who have weed at their house right now waiting to light it up legally? I'm just saying. We like, damn, we waiting. Is this gonna be the next one? Nope. You can't go. Can't do it. Can't wait another 8 years for some weed to get legal, dog. Can't do it. Y'all ain't sending no more of my people to jail over some weed. It's crazy to think about that, right? Bro, you're a Democrat, you live in a Democratic state, and your dad, or not your dad, your great uncle was a Kennedy, was the Kennedy. This guy was he was super liberal. He was not about a lot of like regulation and things like that. And it's still so insane to me that the Republicans and the central, mostly Republicans, we'll talk about the Republicans, they always preach about liberty, right? It's all about liberty. Liberty, until it's time for you to have your liberty. Then you're like, oh, okay, well, can government get out of my fucking medication then? Because I want to medicate the hell out of this. I'm about to medicate this up right now. I'm about to medicate this up into a Swisher Sweet and medicate that shit right into my lungs and medicate myself to sleep and medicate myself some food when I get the munchies. But no, not then though. Not then. Oh no, you can't have that devil plant. Can't have that devil plant right there now. Well, didn't you say that you want the big government out of my... No, that's not what we said. Because remember, they're all about states' rights. By the way, if you don't know, states' rights is just a code for we can do bigoted shit when we want to and y'all can't do anything about it. Because the only time states' rights ever became a really big issue, it was during the Civil War when they wanted to keep black people as slaves. That was really interesting, I think, you know. But when it comes to the weed conversation, by the way, just an aside, the first thing they did was try to federally like attack people who were in states that weed was legalizing. What kind of hypocritical shit is that? It's like, yo, either you're going to be for states' rights or you're not going to be for states. But it seems like, once again, they only bolster the idea of states' rights whenever it's time to do some racist or bigoted shit. Like, we have a right to deny gays service to this store. You know what? If I was the only clinic in a town, and if I was like, just happened to be like an Indian guy, I'm not saying that all the clinics in, I just came from a state where almost all the pediatricians were Indian. Weird coincidence, whatever. I'd be like, oh, sir, you're a Christian. I can't serve you here. You're going to have to go a couple hours down the road. But what? I'm going to die. Hey, states' rights. Damn, Daniel. That's how idiotic you sound. Like, just 'cause you don't get to, when you opt in for a business license, a license by a state and a federal government, you don't get to choose which laws you abide by as business. If the federal law says you got to do this, you just got to do it. It's fine. What your concern is about something going on in someone else's bedroom is a whole nother psychological issue that I am not qualified to speak on. But if you want to talk to me about it after the camera's off, hey, give me a call. We can talk about how you got some daddy issues that you haven't yet solved, and I'm here with you. But back to JFK. Not JFK. I keep calling him JFK, but it's because of the Joe. Unless his middle name is really an F, then that would be kind of weird. But back to Joe. Sorry, JFK. I didn't mean to. I'll listen to your speech today about racism, good stuff. But anyway, Joe decided that he was going to try to appeal to the dreamers. Joe decided that, you know what? This is how I win them over. I'll tell them that they belong here in Spanish. Because everybody knows that 99.9999% of all dreamers speak Spanish. By the way, that statistic is totally untrue, which is why Joe's little publicity stunt, is totally out of line. Like, what in the... Okay, listen, and I may be biased because I am a person who I consider myself cultured. As in, I'm not necessarily well-traveled, but I've interacted with damn near every type of culture, ethnicity, races within that ethnicity, everything you can think of. Just because, once again, by virtue of the area that I came from. Military towns tend to have different cultures. Every single one of them would not be okay with you just deciding to read off of a teleprompter some Spanish words just to try and get us to think that you're worth voting for. Every single one of them. Myself, like if I'm running, because it's called time and place, right? I think we can all agree with that. It's called time and place. So many of you all know, I went to Korean church for 10 years. Don't ask, it's a long story. I'll get to it later. But I went to Korean church for 10 years. By virtue of that, I learned a lot of Korean. Believe it or not, I used to hang around primarily Koreans in high school. I know. Once again, weird stories. We'll get to it later. But I spoke a lot of Korean. When I went to Korean church, I spoke Korean oftentimes because the older women and the older men could not speak English. When I went to Korean events, I spoke Korean. When I was at school, I spoke Korean. Even if I had met another Korean that I became social with, we would communicate in Korean whenever we wanted to talk shit behind other people's back. It's kind of normal stuff that people with other languages do. Okay, cool. So, if I was running for an office in Fayetteville, I could actually address Koreans, but I would address them because if this is a way to make you feel more comfortable in understanding the policy, then then I can speak in Korean to address you. I can never be a politician in Korean, but I'm just using this as an example. No one would think that's weird. People may even think that's impressive. But it's an entirely different situation when you're addressing an entire group of recipients of a particular policy benefit, when not 100% of them are Latino. And on top of that, they're really, for the most part, considered Americans. Like, if I know a bunch of people that you would never know that they were dreamers because they don't have an accent whatsoever and they don't even speak the original language that they came from. So you speak Spanish to tell them that this is their country, but why not just address them and say, hey, dreamers, this is your country. I think that's a pretty fair. Nobody would be like, oh, Joe don't speak Spanish. Joe can't be our president because he doesn't speak Spanish. We can't have him at the parties. We can't have him at the New Year's parties. We can't have him at the quinceañera if he don't speak Spanish. Like, nobody would think that. Nobody would think that. I don't think so. I wouldn't think that. Now, here's where it gets a little bit more problematic. Now, y'all gonna have to follow me a little bit here because it's where it gets tricky. Joe, let me tell you why that was a dick move. Yes, 90% of dreamers come from Latin American countries. specifically Spanish-speaking countries. And most of those, yes, do come from Mexico. You fail miserably at accounting for that other 10%. And that is dangerous. Because, well, one, I've been a part of that other group, that other 10% group. Like, you know, most of the country is white, and we're only like 12 to 13% of the population, black people, I mean. It's not fun to be left out when you're just because your vote doesn't count for that election. And he did this on purpose. That was done on purpose. Because in the general election, the Desi community, the Arab community, anybody from any of the Africans, whether it be East African or West African communities, Brazilians, even some Europeans, Koreans, Chinese, Japanese, their communities are not influential enough to affect the outcome of an election in a blue state, because it's going to go blue regardless. So why would I pander to them? I don't need to, right? 2, if they're in the South, it doesn't matter, once again, because they don't make up enough of the population. But Latino groups do. So what we have seen is really Joe just deciding, hey, we're just going to ignore everybody else. You know what Joe speaking Spanish to Dreamers about DACA like really sounds like? It legitimately sounds like if he went to South Side Chicago, hell, or even Chicago in general, at a general rally, right, addressing the entire country or addressing the entire state of Illinois, and he looked at black people and said, listen, fam, we gonna get it popping with this prison reform, B. Y'all just gotta be a little patient. It's gonna take a good little minute, but look, trust me, I'm with you 100%. Look, that part, all right? That part, I got you. Like, Joe, you wouldn't do that in Southside Chicago. So why are you gonna do that when you're addressing the entire population, and then addressing all the dreamers, and then looking at one group and then speaking their language? They're not weird to anybody else. That's kind of weird to me. It's weird to me. Maybe I'm just a weird person. But I would also say this. We know for a fact that the Arab Desi, specifically the Arab and Desi community. So for those of you who don't know what the Desi community is, that would be Pakistan, Bangladesh, Punjab, and India, that area. To address them in the same way that he addressed the Spanish-speaking community, he would have to speak Arabic. And we know that centrist Democrats and even some people on the right who otherwise do not like Trump and are looking for a central safe pick outside of Trump, we know that viscerally, unfortunately, they associate Arabic or any language that comes from that area with Islam. And God knows the Democratic establishment does not even want to think about what it would be like to be on a national debate stage and then have the teleprompter say, what did you mean by speaking Arabic and saying that this country belongs to you when you were addressing the Arabic dreamers? That is the last thing they want to deal with. And the other thing that they do not want to do is legitimize and humanize the people that they have worked so hard to dehumanize. It's the same thing that we do with Africans. How all the pictures you see of Africa for some reason are poor people or people in like the jungle. Like the people that actually, believe it or not, choose to stay in the jungle areas because of their families or whatever. There are people who choose to leave, believe it or not. A lot of Africa is really, really, really nice. Believe it or not. Really nice, actually. So I haven't had a lot of gold. So you all don't realize a lot of the times that there's always a method to the madness. There's always a method to the madness. He did this on purpose. It is dangerous because here's what he also did. He perpetuated the negative stereotypes that are often associated with dreamers. If you talk to your average Facebook conservative, your average Twitter conservative, the first thing they think about when they talk about dreamers is build the wall. Motherfucker, what you gonna do about all the dreamers that flew here from Europe and Africa and the Middle East and Korea and China? But they say build the wall because they have been instinctually conditioned to associate DACA with criminal, illegal, or undocumented Mexicans. That is conditioning. It's the same way that they do the thing they do in the South when they associate welfare with black people. It's kind of weird how black people are killing all the welfare in the South, but y'all make up all the goddamn demographics of the South. We got 1 or 2 cities in the whole South. And then y'all the rest. And they're like, hey, black people and Latinos are killing y'all welfare. Get them out of here. And it's funny too, because if y'all knew black people, I'm not saying that all black people are alike, because no one group is alike, but I'm black, so I can speak on it with some authority, okay? Black people don't really like welfare that much. I'm not gonna lie to you. In fact, my mom is like in one of those weird situations where she was able to raise 2 children, 2 bad children. We were kind of bad, I ain't gonna lie. We were a little bad. We was rambunctious. I won't say we were bad. We was rambunctious. But she did not use 1 ounce of child support. She refused to use food stamps. She refused to use any type of public assistance. She was hard-headed. First of all, my mom is very hard-headed. I love my mom to death. She's watching this, she's probably gonna kick me in the butt. But she refused to. And that wasn't just her. That was all of her friends who were single mothers. That was the majority of black parents that I knew. It was not the norm to use welfare. Just like for some reason people think that it's the norm for black people to use Planned Parenthood. Y'all, we didn't even know what Planned Parenthood was until this election. I'm going to be honest with you. That's not a thing that we don't get like, oh, let's go to Planned Parenthood, y'all. Like, we ain't got $300 I'm gonna laugh. It's cheaper to have a baby on Medicaid than to spend $300 to get rid of it, because that check ain't coming up. That check got to go to the rent. We ain't, and by that time it's too late to have the abortion. So the rent check gonna have to come first. We're gonna have to have this baby and figure this out. That's how that works usually in black communities. So the idea that like Planned Parenthood is used to genocide black babies, no, we don't be going there, homie. Now, with that being said, my point is this: the fact that Joe decided that was a good idea should feel like a damn slap in the face to all people who think the Democratic Party is for them. It should be a huge slap in the face to the Latino community. If you are not in the category of Latino and you are a dreamer, you should be campaigning actively and aggressively against these type of candidates or the Democratic Party in general. Listen, he sat here and looked at y'all in y'all face and pretended to give a damn. Bruh, the Democrats put the wall in the initial budget totally unprovoked. They didn't even put up a fight. No, I'm not worried about the wall, because I'm obviously educated enough to know that most people who come here that are undocumented came here and they overstayed their visas, but also because for some reason the wall keeps getting associated with DACA. DACA people, and I hope that y'all pay attention to this, and if there's some conservatives watching, I really hope y'all pay attention to this. Whatever the hell you talking about with illegal immigration, that literally has nothing to do with DACA at all. whatsoever. That is the total opposite of DACA. When you are a DACA beneficiary, that means you have documentation and you are here legally and you have to renew to stay here legally. Nothing to do with DACA. That is the total opposite of illegal immigration. They are not illegals. They live here legally. It is an alternative temporary path until they can get their permanent path to citizenship. They have work visas. They have school visas. They are here legally. They're not committing crimes, you fucking idiots, because they wouldn't be allowed to be a DACA beneficiary anymore. You see how that works? That is one of the most strictest rules of being a dreamer. Don't get fucking in trouble. And the idea that undocumented citizens, they come here like, yeah, we come in here to fuck some shit up. I'm not trying to go back to my country. Y'all are worried about the wrong people. The people who are coming over here specifically to commit crimes are rich enough that they're not taking your job. I promise you. They're coming here to commit organized crime. Like the Russian mafia, there's a Cuban mafia. They're coming here and committing organized crime in broad daylight right in front of your eyes. And they work with the politicians that you think are trying to ban them. Okay? The other ones are here to make a better life for themselves. Why would I commit crimes if I know for a fact it's going to result in me being deported? But y'all don't want to focus on the ones who fly in, just the ones who walk in, because y'all have been told that they're taking your jobs. Okay, geniuses, you think that they may be telling you that because they're worried about how they'll vote in the future? So they're specifically going out of their way to not offer a clear path to citizenship because it would dangerously alter the path of this country in a very good way, by the way. All of a sudden, believe it or not, they actually have to think about everybody who lives in this country, except for the people, instead of the people who are just voting for them, instead of the white people who look like them who are just voting for them. This is what it's called, by the way. This is the academic term for it. I know you're going to be mad. I'm going to give a damn. But this is called white backlash. That is what the academic term is called. That's when they start gerrymandering. That's when the anti-immigration rhetoric kicks in. And everything is everybody else's fault except for the politician who's supposed to be there to make sure that bad shit doesn't happen. Everything's everybody else's fault. Anyway, moving on. Bernie, we're going to have to have a conversation. We're going to talk. Listen, y'all know I love Bernie Sanders to death. I even wrote an article just, 2-3 days ago, talking about why he needs to run for president, telling him, explain to people that I am not pleased with some of the rhetoric that he's used in the past, but I understand. However, this whole Russia thing, no. Listen, I'm gonna write an article addressing all the discrepancies in Russia, because if anybody can do it, it's probably one of three of us. There's probably three people that I would trust to do it in the best way, because I was literally involved in the campaign. I was there when it transpired. I know it. Y'all don't even realize, the people who think that the Russia rhetoric is true, we're kind of in and out the campaign, right? They're in and out. So they don't even realize the simplest things like time discrepancies in the original claims. Y'all are still having arguments and discussions over something that was retracted months ago. Y'all are still all this proof of money laundering. Oh God, can y'all believe it? A New York billionaire launders money with Russians? Oh my God. Welcome to America, people. I don't know what to tell y'all. But laundering money through random Russian oligarchs, which I, by the way, unfortunately, totally expect from most billionaires, does not equal Putin hacked the election. Do y'all hear? Do you see the fallacy in that logic? Oh, wow. Rich people work together to get richer. Putin hacked the election. Because the premise of all of this is that Russia would somehow be more incentivized to choose Trump over Hillary Clinton, which is absolute insanity considering that the Clintons were literally responsible for Russia owning 20% of our uranium. Directly, not kind of indirectly, not like parts. I mean, they were there every single step of the way. Whether it be hiring people to approve of certain deals, whether it be traveling directly to the Ukraine, whether it be traveling to South Africa, whether it be using their connections to get business deals, they were there every step of the way. And let's not forget, Clinton's soon-to-be chief of staff, Obama's former chief of staff, John Podesta, owned a lot of a company named Juul, which is the biggest Kremlin-backed energy company. So once again, the whole idea of Russia was premised on Trump being the candidate most likely to benefit Russia. But that actually wasn't even the case. So the premise itself doesn't make any sense, people. And that's the first thing you need to understand. Now, from the strategic aspect of it, because that's really what I want to focus on. I wrote an article today, or at least I published it today, talking about how that if Bernie keeps pushing the Russia narrative, it will be the doom of his Democratic primary run. Now, some people took this as, I think that Bernie's going to lose. It's not what I said. Stop putting words in my mouth. Y'all be reading what y'all want to read, by the way. This is why I don't like writing articles. Because y'all just be picking and choosing shit to read in the articles. Y'all don't even want to read the whole article. Y'all see the headline, be like, nuh-uh, but what about what this and this and this and this and this? I'm like, I literally addressed all of that in detail in the article. But, okay, it's cool. Don't read it. It's fine. Make me waste my time typing all these damn letters out, and y'all not even going to damn read the shit. But I digress. Bernie needs to understand something. Once again, purely from a strategic standpoint, everyone who is going to vote for you, as far as if they're registered Democrats and they're going to vote for you and they're loyal to you, they don't care whether or not you give a damn about the Russian narrative. They don't care. They're going to vote for you if you say it didn't happen. They're going to believe you. They're going to vote for you if you say it did happen, and they're still going to believe you. That's the type of loyalty you've managed to gain because they believe that you are genuine, you have integrity, which I know you do. Now, on the other side of that fence, the people who hate you, they're going to fucking hate you regardless. In case you didn't notice, you backed the Russian narrative, which was not a good thing. You backed the bullshit in Syria, which you should not have done because it was proven totally false and there's been no information otherwise proving that Assad chemically attacked his people. In fact, the only evidence that anybody chemically attacked his people is the evidence that Seymour Hersh put out, and it was us. Our weapons that we transported from Libya into Syria to attack its people to initiate regime change. It was us. It was us. It was us. It was us. You, I would think, should know this. But I digress. I understand why you have not harped on election fraud. Jane explained this to us during the election. I get it. Jane did say on national television, if you see a problem in the elections, you all, the people, have to do something about it. You have to speak up because our hands are tied. They can't go around crying like little babies just so you have some affirmation that you were right. I feel like that all of us are adults and we all we common sense, right? When you go into, if I don't know if any of you all have been coaches or in a leadership position, like I've had employees before, I've had people under me. And if I am going to have a overall goal, I'm not going to go to my subordinate or a person who is working for me or a person who is relying on me to carry them to the promised land because they trust in my leadership. I'm going to go to them and say, hey, I'm going to tell you every piece of my strategy and I hope that you approve of it. No, that's not how real life works. You've never done that. I don't give a damn what half of y'all say. Y'all have never just gone up to everybody that is working under you or even people that you're trying to help. You got to keep a couple tricks up your sleeve. I get it. I understand. But the Russian narrative is not the trick you need to keep up your sleeve, because you can literally only stand to lose. You are the most popular candidate in the country, not by a little bit, but by a lot of bit. A whole lot of bit. The things that you are not taking into account, like, once again, the fact that the people who are going to vote for you are going to vote for you no matter what you say. The people who are going to hate you, you have literally molded in every way and conformed to their bullshit narratives, and they are still mad at you. They are still blaming you. They are still saying you're not a Democrat. You're literally fighting for everything that they're fighting for and more, and they're still not satisfied. When you announce that you're going to give a response, they put someone in front of you. They put Kennedy out there, which is like the most desperate attempt. Good God, if that didn't read like desperation, I don't know what will. If they hate you, they're going to hate you. But what you need to realize is, one, which I know you know, I'm going to say how I know, but I know you know they cheated. And I do know absolutely that you know that they are the minority. The neoliberals who wish to see you fail are the minority. You are the most popular candidate in the country now. You don't have to be on CNN anymore. We don't care if you're on CNN anymore. We know who you are now. It was a big deal when we didn't know who you were. But now we know who you are. Get your ass on Twitter and Facebook and do some live streams. We don't want to see you on CNN. If it's going to require you to, invoke a Cold War like we're currently in pretty much, then no. I would rather you just be on live stream on Facebook because you're already popular enough now. I get it. You're playing the long game. Totally understand that. But who you need to be talking to, who you need to be reaching out to, who you need to be convincing is the 20 million Democrats who left the party because of you. They left the party because of the rigged primaries. Who you need to be addressing are those who are undecided, who now know who you are, but now, because CNN has only been showing you since the election has ended, now they associate you with the Russian narrative. And Medicare for all, yeah, that's nice, but the Russian narrative. Because for me, the danger part of it is a problem. But I think for me, once again, the most important thing is it will make you eventually come off as looking incompetent. Once all this shit is disproven, like categorically with concrete evidence, it's going to make you look bad. You're going to wonder why you have such blind trust in the intelligence community that literally goes out of its way to create disinformation. Luna, what? My cat is in here acting a damn fool. She don't ever do this much. She only doing this because I'm on my camera right now. But you can't stand to gain anything from the Russian narrative. I don't know whether you believe it or not. And I honestly don't care because that's not going to affect the outcome. Like, I love Bernie to death. Y'all know I'm Bernie's biggest fan. But I'm a strategist first, and I want him to win. That's why. And plus, I don't give a fuck who you are. If you're doing some stupid shit, you're going to have to hold you accountable. I'm sorry. Like, it is what it is. It's my job. But most importantly, I want him to win. And you can't win the prize. You're going to give them another excuse as to why you lost. You get what I'm saying? I hope so. It's coming from a good place, people. It's strategy. It's strategy. That's really that. That's really it. I am indifferent to it at this point of pretty much anybody who talks about the Russian narrative, because like most of it is out of desperation. Bernie doesn't sound as desperate when he talks about it, but I'm just indifferent to it. Like it's getting exposed. 2018 is our year, baby. It's getting exposed. So really quick, we got about 10 to 15 minutes left on the show. So I want to address, this is for y'all MAGA people. Y'all thought I was coming for Bernie and not coming for y'all? Oh no. Everybody getting it tonight. Y'all see? I was nice tonight. I spread it up evenly. I got the establishment first. I got Bernie second. And now we're coming for the MAGAs. We're coming for the MAGA people. Now we're going to have a conversation, people. Because I'm starting to question what y'all think y'all supporting in Donald Trump. I agree with you. We were kind of okay with him because we considered him a political outsider. It seemed, or at least he pretended, that he was untouchable. that he was unwavering in his dedication to remaining a political outlier and holding the establishment accountable. Except for, y'all motherfuckers have not been paying attention. Y'all have not been paying attention. I'm gonna tell you why. While y'all are over there complaining and bitching and praying for a wall, this man has invaded Syria. We've been weaponizing the Kurds on the Syrian border, and then Tillerson came out and said, oh nah, we going for regime change. Straight like that. We're not dancing around it anymore. We're not playing game. Oh no, he danced around a little. He said, oh, to protect our ally Israel from Iran. Pfft, yeah, okay. Okay, that's definitely it. We incited it. We're going to. This is the same thing they did with Gaddafi. They came up with excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse after, and then they're just like, you know, fuck it, we're just gonna kill him. We don't owe anybody an explanation. That's how it happened. Like I said, if anybody watched my live from the past, if you from a military family or from a special forces family, you've been seeing Libya like apparel all over your garages and your houses from your parents or your dad specifically since you like in the 90s, because that's how long we've been trying to kill Gaddafi and coming up with reasons to kill Gaddafi. Seriously. He invaded Syria after he remember he made it such a big deal when they pulled out of Syria for a little bit. Then Deep State called him up. Hey man, look, you know we got these pictures, dog. And they leaked that little porn star thing. They leaked that. Trump got so much dirt on him, it's kind of hard for him not to succumb to the Deep State. I'm just being honest. I'm being honest because I want you all on the team of unity and progression. As in, we have to hold y'all complain, y'all bitch and moan about Bernie all day about literally two things. Oh, why he's talking about Russia? Oh, the election rigging that he actually did address. He definitely called for Debbie Wasserman Schultz firing multiple times, was very adamant about it. Y'all didn't watch it because you only watched Fox News. You weren't watching CNN when he said that, but you watched Fox News. So that's your fault if you didn't see it. 2, he wrote letters asking to examine all the voting machines and all the paper ballots in the elections. No, he did not make a fucking big deal about it. No, he did not throw a temper tantrum about it. Because it's our job to throw goddamn temper tantrums. Not him. He's a polished politician. Well, not that polished. But he's a politician and he knows better. You can't go out blaming other people for your losses or you come off sounding like Hillary Clinton. Got it. But if we want to move forward, I'm going to hold Bernie Sanders accountable. Because at the end of the day, I may love Bernie Sanders, but you are responsible for way too much for me to not hold you accountable. Trump is responsible for way too much for us to not hold him accountable. Because here's what it looks like. Y'all say y'all care about Trump defeating the deep state and globalism and the New World Order. Bro, he had Henry Kissinger in his office, and this motherfucker literally said, I'm meeting with Trump so that we can work together to create a New World Order. What the hell? Nobody talks about that? Nobody's going to talk about that? Nobody's going to care about that? Nobody bring that up? We just going to ignore that shit like it didn't happen? Come on, B. Come on. We going to talk about the fact that Trump is meeting? He already met to get America back in the TPP because he was convinced randomly out of nowhere that we would lose out by joining TPP. We're not going to talk about that. So y'all don't care about that. That was like literally, y'all used to use these very points when defending him. But now y'all don't care about TPP. We're not going to talk about the fact that he keeps trying to pretend as if jobs have increased. They've increased exponentially. We've been doing a very, very good job. I'm very, very proud of that. Yeah. I was in an argument the other day on Twitter with a guy named Wayne Dupree, black conservative. He's one of those black conservatives. You know what I'm talking about. I got to call out black people to validate my conservatism type of conservative because it gets me views and retweets. He said, I asked him a question. He said, look at all this stuff that Trump has did that Obama didn't do. And And for the first time in a long time, I actually had to defend Obama. I was like, yo, facts is way off. But I said in a nice way, hey, can you provide me some examples of these facts that you were laying out? Look around you. If you don't see this just because you're watching liberal media or mainstream media, I'm like, oh, whoa, wait a minute, homie. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch MSNBC. I watch them to make fun of them and laugh at them. That's about it. It's entertaining. It's like comedy at this point. But I was like, I just asked you for facts, and you just attacked me, called me all types of liberals, and but he's one of them. They use liberal as a cuss word, so pretty much like him calling me a nigga. But like, he's like, you liberal. That's pretty much what he did. So I was like, I just asked for facts, bro. Because Fox Business said that this is primarily going to benefit the 1%, and that the middle class, case by case, would benefit from this. But overall, it is not, and that is only temporary. But overall, it's going to benefit the 1%. He said, Fox Business never said that. Oh shit, you're fucking fooling me, Link. Oh, well, that Link, here's another one. Go ahead. Tell me what it didn't happen. Tell me what didn't happen. Trump lied. Straight to your faces. Straight to your faces, people. He lied to you. And there are political pundits who are lying to you still. Because you keep retweeting them. Because you keep liking their posts. Because you keep liking their channel. Because you want to believe that there is no other option other than neoliberal media and regular conservative media, I guess, at this point. Do you not understand the irony of Trump supporters calling Bernie Sanders a sheep herder? Let's examine the facts, people. You have one guy who ultimately he won unequivocally in an amazing way, because there's just no reality where somebody is the most popular candidate in the nation and loses to the most unpopular person ever in the history of politics. Doesn't make any sense. You know how we know it doesn't make any sense? Because we can look at Trump as an example. Trump was the most popular Republican ever outside of Reagan at this point. And he got a bunch of people to register for him. And he won. He won. Clearly, definitively. Wasn't even close. And it made sense that he won, unfortunately. But remember how the Republicans used to pretend to hate him? Then he won. And then it was everybody got in line. Hey, we're going to back you, man. I'll be on your administration. But they hated him. They despised him. They were the ones who initiated the fusion GPS opposition research. They were the ones who initiated that. But Trump gets in office. All of a sudden, all his tweets are pro-GOP. Remember how he was lambasting them during the election? But now all his tweets are pro-GOP. Now he loves them, the Republicans. Now the Republicans and him get along famously. He doing everything they asked him to do. Y'all haven't noticed that? He got a bunch of y'all to join the party. And now he got all y'all screaming pro. And most of y'all supposedly like Trump because he didn't want to do what the establishment was doing. But he's been lockstep with the establishment, people. He lied to you to your faces. I told this dude, the dude I was arguing with, I said, yo, literally there's been tens of thousands of jobs lost since the tax bill was initiated. Oh, that's not true. That's liberal right wing. No, motherfucker. Let's look at the facts. Sam's Club closed, 10,000 employees right there. There's a reason that they all announced their bonuses on the same day. They announced their bonuses on the same day they fired everybody, in case y'all did not catch that very clear pattern. Y'all so lucky I'm done. We're going to have this conversation later. Anyway, thank you all so much for listening. Once again, I want to give a special shout out to our sponsors, the Credit Surgeons. Also, go and listen to American Freedom Radio and listen to our other great journalists as well. And join the Patreon, the One Follow, $1 campaign on www.patreon.com/MikhaSays Sukasa. And always remember, ladies and gentlemen, find your balance. Peace.